Let's start laying down on your back, please. So as you come to your back, lay down. And bring your right knee into your chest. Squeeze it in just a little bit more. And then back off a little bit and start to straighten your right leg and just move into your hamstring. Left leg can just be completely relaxed out long. Just feel out what's happening in there. Now just start to pump just your right foot. So we're just going to flex, dorsiflex, and point. So we're just moving the heel up and then the toes up. So we work the neurolymphatics here. We're stretching along the front body and then the back body. And just keep doing this about 5 more times. Notice that your shoulders are not reacting in any way. They're just hanging down and back into your mat. And about 2 more. Heel up, toes up. Heel up, toes up. And then as you bend your knee again, we'll release the arms and start to roll your right hip around. So we're just going to roll the right hip around in circular motion. Just bringing blood flow to the lower back, to the upper glutes, and into the groin. As this is happening, you can also feel some activation down and around the lower abdomen. Turn the music down a little bit. And now switch the direction. You notice those inner adductor muscles having to work to swing you back in to center. 2 more. And now go ahead and take this right leg all the way over the left side of your body, all the way over the left. Just let your right arm be what it needs to be as you turn it over to the left in your twist, right shoulders down, back toward the mat. Down just means toward, not all the way in. Good, and then bring your right leg back all the way out. Don't even use your hands, just take your right leg all the way out to the side and then take it all the way back over the left side of the body into your twist. All right, so never done before, right? So we take the right leg back out voluntarily out to the right side with action, and then swing it over involuntarily over to the left. Opening up the right lower back a little bit more. Let your breath start to extend down into your right lower SI, QL region. And one more time, take it out to the right, opening the adductor. And then all the way over to the left. Okay, now pause, hold. Just see how expansive you can get maybe in your right arm from your right knee to your right shoulder. 3 of your longest, deepest yogic breaths. So the tongue is elevated to the roof of your mouth, just behind your top teeth. You're breathing in and out through your nose. Really getting all the way down into the lower lobes of your lungs. Letting your body know it's safe, it's okay to be in this position, to unravel and unwind what is necessary right now in this time. One more deep breath. Notice any tension in your left arm from holding your right leg, relax it completely. And as we come back around, we'll lay down on the back, but bend your left knee, right ankle to your left thigh. So you're in figure 4 shape. Right ankle onto your left thigh, hold here. Just flex the foot, and push the knee away. So we're pushing the knee away from the torso, but keeping the foot flexed. So all the muscles are active as we're pushing the knee away so that we can get into the groin and into the anterior aspect of the hip, like medial to anterior front part of the hip. Good, and then release the tension and come into full figure 4. So your right arm's going to needle through your triangle, clasp a hold of your shin in the front or your hamstring in the back, around that left leg. Relax the shoulders, squeeze it in. Very passive stretch, so don't think about action right now, just passive. Breathe into your head, down into your neck, into your heart. Let the whole head into your chest body get expansive on your inhale. When you exhale, feel the legs kind of compress into the torso, into your heart, into your chest. Allow your knuckles to just make their own lock. You're not needing to muscle them around. Inhale fully and deeply. And then exhale. One more. Full body breath on the exhale. Let the legs compress you. One more inhale here. Hold the breath. And on your exhale, let all the air out of your mouth. Great. And then release both feet back down and onto your sticky mat. Bend your elbows 90 degrees like a goalpost out to your sides. Roll your knees to the left and stretch your right arm long. Both knees to the left, right arm long. How long can you get from your right knee to your fingertips? And then bend the elbow back to 90 and switch. Knees to the right, stretch your left arm all the way up and over your head. Really stretch and pull from the foot to the knee, from the knee to the left fingers, and switch. See now if you can get into your own flow, your own rapid or slow motion. As you enter into the side waist, entering into the lower back, entering into the quadriceps and the iliotibial band, opening up for you here. Keep switching. The glute minimus and medius muscle getting long. The underarm getting exposed. Keep switching. 2 more each side. No tension in the head or neck. You don't even need the head or neck right now. So let it be expansive, blood flowing from head to heart. Breath flowing in through the nose, up through the head, down through the throat and neck, into the heart. Last round, we'll go to the left and then we'll end on the right. No tension anywhere. Ending on your right, both feet down on the floor, bridge pose position, so your feet are a good 6 to 8 inches apart, arms down by your sides. Inhale and root down through your feet, elevate the hips up. And then exhale, lower the hips down, a little bit longer spine here. Stamp your sacrum all the way into the floor like there's pressure. You're pressurizing. You want to put a stamp of your sacrum into your sticky mat. Inhale and elevate the hips back up. And exhale all the way down. Think about everything you've just done in your leg from the beginning to now, that you're moving all of that energy like you're pulling it up, venous flow, both prana, blood. Exhale and down. Stamp the sacrum, really push it in there. When you stamp your sacrum, your lumbar spine has to move into an anterior forward motion curve. That's great. That's right for your body. Inhale, right, and elevate, lift up. You hug the buttock muscles here. We feel elevated, a little bit higher every time. Exhale and lower down, just because that's evolution. Stamp. This will be the last one. Inhale up. And exhale, lower and stamp. So we like those bridges too because they help create some pressure around the thyroid, around the parathyroid and the throat. Glandular balance. Inhale and bring the left knee in, right leg out. Hold it. Maybe you notice something interesting and long happening along the right side as you hug the left leg in a little bit closer now. Like a real hug. Like, oh, it's so good to see you and be with you again. Great. And then straighten your leg when you back off a little. Straighten your leg. Hold it. Let the shoulders hang back. The neck get long. Chin up a little bit. And now dorsiflexion, point the toes. So heel up, toes up. Neurolymphatics are here. We're stretching the elasticity all along the musculature of the leg, front and back, side to side. Asking any of those veins, any of the capillaries that might be a little bit clogged right now to open up. Through this aerobic movement. So you're not anaerobic when you're just relaxed, right? And your body's just doing things naturally. You're aerobically moving heel up, toes up. So we're aerobically moving the blood into and through the vascular system right now. 2 more. Heel up, toes down. And toes up, heel down. That's it. Great. And then bend the knee, release the arms, and now circular motion. We're going to go out first. So we're just moving out. Maybe it has a great swing, a big circumference, or maybe it's small. You're listening to your hip joint. Every single one of us have had a different story this lifetime, different way that we've moved the hip. Some of you have a lot of glute strength and a lot of compression back in there. Maybe not strength, but just tightness. And some of us don't have so much. We're really feeling bone. So you are listening to what your body needs as we rotate, as we do any of these postures and movement. 2 more. Good, and then switch the direction. So now as we go outward, we feel the adductor act as we come in. There's a little work in it. So nice to get the intestinal body massage, stretch laterally and then medial. It doesn't get that a whole lot. It doesn't get a lot of this lateral movement. So this is a great cleansing action to the intestines, to the ileocecal valve. 2 more. Out and in. Out and in, and then cross it all the way over. Left leg goes all the way over the right side of the body. Just allow your left arm to fall where it may. Relax everything. Feel that. Be in posture, be in breath. Without the breath, we're not really being, be, and then some lowercase ing. Take the left leg out to the left. Really open the adductor out. You're going to feel the lateral glutes open for you here. Engage for you there. And then cross it all the way over. So we close the gate here. Great, and then take it back out to the side. So anything that might be kind of clenched in there, shortened, tight, we're moving in and saying, hey, I'm going to open you and close you, open you and close you until, just like we would a hinge, like, okay, we're going to oil, we're going to put a little grease in there, and then we're going to open and close it so that we can really get that grease to penetrate into all the aspects of that area. Here we go. One more time. Left leg out and then over. Out, hold, pause, feel all that stuff, the tension on the outer, the openness on the inner, and then cross it over. Great for the perineum too, for the genitalia area. All right, now stretch the left arm all the way out to the side. How big and broad can you get in your body? How relaxed can your neck and head be? As you stretch here from left knee out to the left fingers. Relax everything. One more deep, long breath. Great, and then as you bring yourself back in, we're going to bend the right knee to grab a hold of the left ankle. So it's a very fluid, easy movement here. And then coming back onto your back, you're in that figure 4 motion. Flex the foot and push the knee away. Feel the inner groin open. Bring in some space into the anterior part of the hip joint. But we're doing it safely because we're creating a tautness through the musculature. From the foot all the way up into the hip, there's tautness, and then we're saying, okay, now we're going to safely open the interior of the hip. Those sitting muscles that get close and cramped. Great, and then relax that and come all the way into threading your needle. Feel your breath move. The legs are creating a lot of penetration of blood into the upper body. Inhaling and expanding every time you exhale, let the legs fall into your chest a little bit deeper, creating more of that deep penetration. Your knuckles are locked and not bound by muscle tension. Your breath's a little longer, feeling a little more safe. Muscles through your hip are broadening from the sitting bone out to the hip. The feet are just relaxed. 2 more. Inhale in through the nose, exhale out through the nose. Now, next breath, inhale in through the nose, hold the breath. Feel the tension, feel the tight, feel that stretch happen because you're holding your breath, and then exhale, let all the tension go out of your mouth. Squeeze in a little bit more at the bottom of that exhalation, really feeling the depth of that stretch, and then lower both feet down onto the floor, find your bridge. This time, as your feet again are in that typical bridge pose, good 6 to 8 inches apart, you're going to inhale and lift your arms up as your hips raise up. So this is balancing the neurology of the brain and how lift the hips up, arms up. And then exhale, lower the hips, lower the arms. See if you can move through this simultaneous flow. Inhale, hips up and the arms up. The feet like to be part of this too. So as you exhale, lower down and stamp your sacrum, notice how your feet want to kind of elevate up too, pivoting on your heels. Heels stay down, and then ground the feet and lift the hips, arms up, back. Really extending the spine. Exhale, lower down. Toe mounds come up. Arms press, sacrum presses. And inhale, 2 more, back up. So ways that we wouldn't normally open the body up here, this is what we're doing. We're bringing a difference. We're creating pattern interruption. Inhale and lift up, hips up, arms up. And exhale, lower hips, lower arms. As you bring your knees in, grab a hold of your knees, and then just see if you can rock a little bit or a lot. You listen to your spine, you listen to your body as you rock forward and back. So you're rocking to your feet, and then you're rocking back to your shoulders. At about 5 more, just getting playful and joyful with it. See if you can even smile at yourself as you're rocking forward and back. 3 more. 2. On the last one, find your way into a standing forward fold. If that's not the favorite front edge of your sticky mat, then go ahead and move to the favorite front edge. And then let your head go, reach around and grab a hold of the back of your legs somewhere, calves or ankles, somewhere, let the head hang. Now, what I want you to feel in this standing forward bend is not that it's necessarily just forward bending. It's definitely not forward bending into your back. I want you to feel that it's a hip stretch for you. So go in, go down, and really feel the hinge at the hips open and broaden you from sitting bones to outer edges of the hips. So perhaps even squeeze your body in just a little bit more. Fully and deeply letting the head go so that it can traction your spine long instead of creating and holding tension in your spine. Root down through your big toes and elevate your small toes so the medial arch is working for you. Foot strength. That's your support, your base. And then bend the knees, hands onto your waist, and inhale, and slowly with a long spine come all the way up. Whew. Great. Now, as you feel your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, so hip width, would be about 6 to 8 inches. We're going to go a little bit wider than that. We're going to bend the knees, and as we bend the knees, we're going to start to move. Remember, week before last, we worked on threading, flossing the arms. So we're going to do that same thing, but as we're doing it, we're going to bend the knees and use the pulsation. So is letting your arms really just move kind of in this wave-like motion, bending the knees to pump. Okay, so we're using this pumping mechanism to really pull blood from the feet, venous flow, up into the heart. We're going to find a little bit of exhaustion here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and then release it. Good, separate your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. So maybe you're not at the front edge of your sticky mat anymore. Sorry about that. Heels in, toes out. As we bend a knee, we're going to take the hand. Just imagine that you're dribbling a ball. So we're going to bend a knee, straighten the leg, and reach over. You're pushing that ball down and into the net. Go. And just going from side to side. Look at it. So last week, a request that came in was like, listen, I want to work on the left brain, right brain. So part of that, a neurologist would tell you to go from side to side of the room and pick one spot and continue to always look at that one spot every time you turn your head. So that's not only optical strength, right? Strengthening our optic nerves and our vision, but it's also making sure that the brain is balanced every time you turn your head. 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Inhale and come all the way to center. Parallel feet, but still wide. Interlace your fingers back behind your body. Hug your shoulder blades together. Really squeeze that blood you just activated in there. Great. And then hinge at the hips. Slowly start to forward fold. Arms up and over the back of your head if that's your practice right now. But certainly letting the head go eventually. Three more breaths. So think about all of the blood that you're squeezing right now around these muscles of the upper back, and then let the head and neck go a little bit more so that you can have some freedom through the neck, through the throat, into the head. In just a moment, whenever we come up, the floodgates are going to open up. Big chest opener here, by the way. Bend your knees, lift your face, arms come back as you safely come all the way up and into your standing position. Good, you're still in your wide legs. Yes, heels in, toes out. So now as we come down into our squatting position, standing squat, you might need to walk your heels in. I don't know what you need. Hands onto your knees, but you do, right? This is empowerment, right? Not disempowerment. So drop a shoulder down and look up the opposite. Inhale up and exhale, switch. Feel how your pubic bone starts to elevate up toward your navel. So your adductors are lengthening here a bit. Stabilize through your big toes so you're not falling out through your ankles or in through your intermedial ankle. You're exhaling as you drop the shoulder and inhaling up to center. 2 more each side. Let the pelvis hang down a little bit more. So it's this organic kind of yin fall of the pelvic body. Last round. I think I overdid one extra, but that's okay. We'll go opposite shoulder now and then come all the way back up into your center. Now, same position with the legs, but now we're going to use that pulse as we kind of rub the back of the moon. So y'all remember this. So as we're pulsing the legs, you're going to rub the back circumference of the moon. So we go to the top of the moon and then we go to the bottom of the moon. And that's all. We're just going to the top, around the back and down. As you pump and pulse your legs. 10 more. 10. Really feel when the arms come down, that stretch through the trapezius muscles. 7. 6. When you come up, hug the buttock muscles. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Inhale all the way back up. Last time, flex your feet, hands onto your waist. Last time with wide legs. Inhale, lengthen. You're parallel, pigeon-toed even a little in the feet. Exhale, slowly fold all the way down. Hands to the floor. Head down, forward fold. 10 breaths. Really let the head go. Wherever your hands want to travel, that's fine. Maybe they want to go out to your ankles. Maybe they want to stay between your feet. Maybe out in front, wherever they are, let the head go. And breathe. Whispering comes sinuses for some of us. Use this as a dislodging practice. It's work sometimes to breathe. Use that work to clear the sinuses, to push into them a little bit more instead of just passively, I'll breathe what I can. We use this practice as a pump. We push in where it's challenging. 3 more. More hip opening as you're lifting the sitting bones up. Lift the face up and then just travel to one leg. Now listen, some of us have knee injuries and we're not going to be able to come all the way down into a squat. And you might just say, you know what, sustainably, this doesn't feel right to me. So then don't drop the hips all the way down. But we're going to get in through the hamstring. We're going to get into the adductor via the hamstring. So the opposite toes are up and then just switch to the other side. So we're going side to side. You can travel all the way over. You can eventually not use your hands if that's in the cards for you. That might feel destabilizing to your low back to not use your hands. About 3 more from side to side. 2. Last one. Good. And then come into whatever leg you were just in. Find it in a lunge. Lower the back knee onto the floor. Bring both hands inside of your foot. Both hands inside of your foot. Drop the hips up just a little bit. Drive. I said drop. I said drop and drive at the same time. But lift your hips up a little bit. And some of us are going to come all the way down and inside of the whatever foot is in front right now. And others of us are going to stay on the hands. It's all about the hip right now. It's all about a ton of blood coming into the top of the quadricep and around the hip. And breathe as if your hip and life depend on it. 3 more in this position. Remember, the pulse of your breath comes all the way down into your belly. That's how the diaphragm dislodges. That's how we get out of stress. First, just lift your face and come off your elbows if you were already in them. And as you lunge forward, really dip the pelvis downward. So we were up, but now you're just dipping the pelvis downward and look up like you're in a cobra position. The shoulders roll out and away from your ears. Good, and then pull the hip back a little bit more. Dip down. It's not a long hold, it's just we're going to find our pulse there. Good, and then come back, straight arms, look up, cobra, drop the pelvis. It's a real long stretch happening right here in the anterior pelvis. And then exhale, hips back. The right leg kind of straightens a little, or the opposite, whatever bent knee you are. My right. Good, and then one more. Drop the pelvis. You're in a big cobra. And then the hips move back. And come up onto your hands. Keep the lunge in your right knee. And then rotate, rotate, rotate here, raising your right arm up. Stabilize your big toe. I said right arm lifts, y'all. I'm sorry. It's the bent knee of the arm lifts. Whatever bent knee you're in, you're rotating toward it in a twist. Okay, that hand on the opposite side of the foot. Now, you might need to move your knee back. I'm definitely going to need to move my knee back and then straighten the front leg. So we should be at a 90-degree angle at the knee and the hip as you start your descent forward fold. Toes are up. You've got your foot completely off the gas. Toes are up. Work with the tension in there. Maybe sprawl your hands apart, whatever you need. Work with the tension in there. Long from sitting bone through crown head. Your torso might be shaking. The back of your leg might be shaking. No hyperextension. There's a slight bend in the knee. Not one anybody can see, only one you can feel. So you're not pressing into the ligaments and tendons in the back of the knee. Bring that hand, that's the bent knee hand, into a more stabilizing pose, and then rotate with a straight leg, raise the opposite arm. So for me, my right knee's bent, I'm raising my right arm. This is a big iliotibial band stretch. So if we're going to work the adductors, we want to really work on every aspect of that leg from outer to inner. 3, no locking in any joints, including the wrist joint. 2, 1, find your lunge. Good, take the leg back into downward facing dog. And pedal out your knees. Just pedal out your knees in your down dog. And come to plank. And then back to down dog. Lead with your sitting bones. 10 of these from plank, your core's on, back to down dog. From plank, really root down through the finger butt pads and not the wrist of the hand, and back to plank. Keep going. Use your core to guide you forward. Use your hamstrings to pull you back. You can feel your arms getting stronger. Please let it not be because your wrists are compressed. Again, root the finger pads. 2 more. Core brings you forward, hamstrings pull you back. Last one. Back into your downward facing dog. And then lower your knees down. Lower all the way down to the floor. Good. Lift your hands up and roll out your wrist. So you're in a cobra without your hands rolling your wrist out. Good. Now stretch your arms way out to the side like you're flying and keep rolling your wrist out. Look down at your sticky mat or the floor and raise both feet and legs up off the ground, stabilizing your lower back. And now pull your arms behind you and let your fingertips reach toward your heels, feeling your shoulder blades really hug together. It's like you're zippered from your tailbone all the way up through the nape of your neck. 3, 2, 1. Hands underneath you and push into child's pose. Come through your table, downward facing dog. What leg was it that you had forward? Bring that into pigeon. What leg was it that you had forward? Bring that into pigeon. Y'all know I never do that. I'm always like, right foot, left foot. I never give you the independence of your own leg, so you can see why. Perch up onto your fingertips and make it a cobra. And pull back through the nape of your neck. Notice if your extended leg even wants to extend back a little bit more. Remember, you already opened so much of this groin area. So it's kind of ready for you to go back a little bit. You don't have to keep it such a short pigeon. Do flex the front foot. One more deep breath. You're in the strengthening position of the lower back and in this opening position of psoas, iliacus, the lower abdomen. And now exhale and come on down. Find your forearms or anything else that you might need. Maybe face flat on the floor. Take it easy and slow though, so you don't pass something along the way that's necessary for you to be aware of and breathe with and through. And breathe. Take a bigger breath into the back of your heart and into your face. And let the two of these link from your face to the back of your heart. Just let the two of them link. Sync the two of these in your breath. Notice how it causes the whole front of your chest to open, to unravel and unwind, to collapse with a sense of certainty that you're safe. 3 more breaths. Keep sinking the front of your face to the back of your heart. Your hip's doing exactly what it needs to. It has no other choice. It's involuntarily opening because you have it in this serious hinged position. Lift your face and come up. And that back leg, we're going to swing it all the way around. So we lean into that hip and then pull the opposite leg all the way around, coming into a twist. So notice if that front leg needs to kind of the heel pull in toward the opposite hip, grab a hold of this new leg and turn and twist around, look back and over your shoulder. Feel free to close your eyes once you find a good place that you want to kind of work with the breath, where it's a little challenging, it's not easy. And then there's nothing here to be or do except breathe. What's happening along the side of your neck that's being pulled the longest? What's happening in the short side that you're closing as you're twisting? How about down in the lower back? One more deep breath. Rotating a little bit more, jaw softens. All right, and then unravel and slowly come back. So stay where you are. We're going to just drop down and onto the elbows, onto your elbows. And in order to drop on the elbows, we don't round the back, right, and let it all just kind of suffocate here. We elevate the chest up. Heels are going to be elevated. Your toes are on the floor. The big toes are touching each other. We're going to pull the knees apart and then squeeze them together while we're in a back bend. What you're going to feel, my good friends, is a little cramping in your feet. Why? Because those arches are more than likely not as engaged as they would like to be. So if you get cramping in your feet, flex your feet and bend your toes, and then come back to it when that subsides. Chest is up, toes are down, heels are up, and you're just squeezing adduction. 5 more. Pulling the knees apart and squeeze adduct. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay on your stay on your elbows. And then pull your right knee in, stretch your left leg out, keep the chin up, the chest up, and then just switch. So we're just rotating the legs, switching, switch, switch, switch. 5 more. 5, 4. Building a little heat in the lower abdomen. 3, 2. Chest is up. It's like a fish pose, but it's not. Last one. Great. And then lower all the way down and onto your back. Inhale, find your bridge. Get the hips up. Let the hips just join this extension, hips up. Hug your inner thighs just like there were a ball between your knees. They're not touching, but they could. Bend your elbows and root the upper arms, your triceps down into your sticky mat or floor. Chin up. Feel just below where the hamstrings and the buttocks attach, or where we know that skin is. Kind of hug that area of your buttocks. Keep squeezing the knees toward each other so we're still getting into the groin, but we're supporting the SI joints. 2 more breaths. Bridge it is, chin out of chest. And come down. Grab a hold of the knees and rock forward and back. 10 times. Get playful, fun, and joyous with it. Shoulders to feet. Remember, if you're on a more thin mat or your spine's a little more bony, then roll to the side of your spine and then roll down the other side of the spine when you do the other side. 3 more. Smile or big smile on your face, an internal chuckle. On this last one, we'll find the forward fold. The original one we did a long time ago. Exhale, forward fold you go. Remember, make it about your hips right now. The heels are down, the sitting bones are up. Feel the space in the crease. At the crease of the pelvis, elevate the crease of the pelvis up so that you can stretch just the hips. Head hangs down low. Squeeze your body in a little more. 2 more breaths. Bend the knees, hands onto your waist, and inhale and come all the way up. Little Charlie Chaplin, so we turn the toes outward. Turn the toes outward, hands down and onto the lower back, and extend into your back bend here. 3, 2, you're supporting your sacrum, your buttocks are hugging, and root the feet and come all the way up. Spread your legs apart. Hands onto your knees. Drop a shoulder. Just 5 of these. 4. Keep sinking the pelvis down. 3, 2, 1 more. Great, and then move into that opposite leg, low lunge. Bring both hands inside of this new leg. Hold here, hover. Maybe find an elbow or both. Raise your hips up a little bit, y'all. I'm sorry I didn't give you that. Pull your opposite leg in, the back leg in, and feel the hips move back as you're hovering here. So your hips are elevated, you're not sinking in the pelvis. That's it. Big, deep dive. Find a little stabilization through the big toe. Staying to the arches of your feet. I need you to be the foundation of me all the time, not just sometimes. You track me. Those feet are tracking everything that's happening in your legs, and then all the way up. Whatever is happening up is usually the cause of something that's happening down. What happens above also happens below. Breathe deep. 2 more. Find your hands onto your sticky mat. You're still in this. And then sink the hips down, big cobra. You're still in that front knee forward, both hands in the inner foot. Big cobra. And then shift the hips back. The left leg goes a little bit towards straight. And then back in, big cobra. Big cobra. The shoulders are way back. The whole front of the throat. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that my neck could open up this much from my collarbones to the underneath of my chin, at my jaw. Hips back. Come forward. Good. Back just a little bit, and now raise your left arm all the way up. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Hug your left thigh in, the big toes down, hug it in. Let the light in. Be with any of the shake. All of those neurons are just like, wah, in your head. The nervous system is getting stronger. The muscles are getting more tone. Left hand to the outside of your left foot now. Come onto your fingertips and notice if you need to walk your right knee back or keep it where it is as you straighten your left leg. Take your foot completely off the gas, toes up, down you go. Let the breath pulse you. Shoulders are back. 2. All right, whatever leg is forward, you're going to start to turn toward that leg. So the opposite hand grounds, turn and twist, open yourself up now through the iliotibial band up into the hip. You're turning toward that straightened, long front leg. 3, really take your foot up off the gas even more. It's like you're trying to stretch your calf muscle here. 2, good, and then find your lunge. Find your downward facing dog. 5 down dogs to plank. Remember, core as you come forward, up through the sitting bones via the hamstrings when you come back. 5, 4, 3, claw down through your finger pads, not through the wrist. 2, 1. Great, lower the knees, lower all the way down. Lift your hands up, feet are on the ground, roll out your wrist. Just keep rolling out your wrist as you stretch your arms out, your bird flying. Raise both legs. Stretch your fingers all the way back toward your heels. Really zipper up from the nape of the neck all the way to the heels. No external rotation, so your toes aren't out, they're down and back. 2. Up a little bit higher, hands underneath you, and child's pose. Table to bringing that opposite leg forward, or not the opposite, the same leg that you just had, sorry, the opposite from before, your pigeon, bring it forward. Remember that back leg can go back. You've worked it. You can go back a little bit more than maybe you would normally do. You know how I sometimes have us come into a real short pigeon? Really see if you're, oh, okay, there's something in there. That's part of this lower back. Whenever we are thinking about releasing the tension and stabilizing the sacrum, to stabilize it, we have to open up this inner groin area. Because if it's still closed and we're trying to stabilize back here, it just won't work. So we think about really opening the pelvis, opening psoas, iliacus, all those attachments that come all the way down in here into the top of the trochanter. All right, so you're in your back bend. Dwell in the belly here, 2 more breaths, shoulders way out of your ears. And now come on down. So I talked about that a couple weeks ago, the antagonist and the synergistics, right? So these muscles that we have to think about, okay, wow, I'm really struggling with this area of my body. I said earlier, what's happening below is usually what's happening above, right? What's happening above is oftentimes what the reason of what's happening below, the way that we're holding our feet, externally rotating our leg, rotation in our pelvis and our sacrum. Okay, so the same with this. Whenever you think about, now we're thinking front to back body. Whenever we think about our lower back being a little, kind of not stabilizing us, feels like it could just go if we picked up something heavy, then you've heard before, like, oh, strengthen your core, strengthen your core. Open the area first. See if your body can't organically, with your help, come back into a neutral position of stabilization before just strengthening your core. There might be some of that too. Come on down, a little bit more. 5 more breaths, breathing from your face to the back of your heart. Inhale, begin to lift your face. And as you sink into that hip, we swing the back leg all the way around and move into your twist. Find that place where you go in, and it's a little interesting, right? And as you pin that shoulder back and you feel that stretch now from the shoulder to the sternum, the pec open, the chest open, the shoulders stronger. Crown of your head, even though you're rotating, is still aligned over your tailbone. Where is it in your neck, the long side? What's your gripping hand doing? Can you relax the muscles of it and just use it as a assistant, but not the entire reactor? Can you passionately let breath in and down into the belly? And then bring your face forward and unravel. And both feet down, scoot your hips forward and lay down on your back. And pull your right knee into your chest just the way that we started, but then straighten your leg and bow into your right leg. So now we stabilize the abdomen. And then lower and release the right leg all the way down, the arms all the way back behind you, long through your right body. And then release everything. Arms are over the head, and there you're just completely unraveled here. Wow, completely free here. And then left knee in, and we come down and we swoop through to grab that left shin. And then we straighten the left leg. And bow in. There's your core. And then left leg goes long. So we want to think about our body in this mass, right? This strength, but in a lean mass, so that we're not hyperactive anywhere. We're not hypertonic anywhere, but we're balanced. Exhale and release everything. And now with your big toes, lower your arms out to like Shavasana. As your legs are going to fall apart out to the sides, that's great, that's fine. But then pull them in like you're internally rotating your big toes and inner thighs together. Hold and squeeze there for 3, 2, 1, and then release them out again. Just let them fall. Now bring them back together. Internally rotate from the top of the pelvis. Your humerus bones are really internally rotating in the joint. The big toes are touching. You can feel like, wow, there's a ton of tension that's, for me, it's happening in my lower back. And then release. And then one more. So the big toes are going to come in. They're really squeezing into each other. The humerus bones are rotating. You can feel like, it almost feels like your hips elevate up a little bit. You're rotating, rotating, rotating. And release. Grab your sticky mat and kind of pull your shoulder blades underneath you. Notice if you need to uncork your hips. And let's just take a moment to let this absorb. Your breath is going to happen, so passively allow it to just flow through and fall out. Stay in this state. I know we all love Shavasana, but I'm going to ask you to stay in this state with your eyes closed. Fold over to your side and up into your tallest meditation position. Not even pranam with the forehead, just come right into your tallest meditation position. Keep looking at the third eye with the eyes back. No thought, just keep allowing your eyes to look back and in. Feel the air around you touching your face. Feel the air around you, maybe touching your arms, your hands. Inhale in and hold your breath here for a few seconds. Exhale all the air out of your mouth. Inhale in, hold the breath. Let it digest down into the diaphragm I was talking about earlier. And exhale, let it all out. And your next inhale in, hold the breath, and let us om together out. Namaste.